morning and welcome to Dale Street Church Online. As we continue with part 9 of our 6-part devotional series, obviously now it's a 10-part, all about why church, kind of exploring just a few of the many reasons why church is important to us, particularly in the run-up to us returning to church on Sunday the 25th of July, just 2 weeks now. And today's reason for why church is important is all about the children. Now, I don't know if I was given this subject because I've got 5 kids, so therefore I should be an expert. If that's the case, then that's probably a big mistake, because I'm sure Naomi will happily confirm I don't really have much of a clue. And maybe you're thinking right now that I didn't need to tell you that. You all know that I don't have a clue. There's probably 16 months of videos on the church website that prove it, but well, hopefully not everyone's thinking that. Now maybe if you don't have kids of your own, or your kids are grown up and they're not kids anymore, maybe you're thinking this message isn't for you, that you can just skip this one, get straight on to, preparing for tonight's big match, painting your face, hanging your England flags out the window, whisper it quietly, I've heard it's coming home. But this message is for everyone. It's not just for the parents in church, but for the whole church. Because we all have a responsibility for the welfare and the growth of the children in the church. I mean, yeah, sure, parents have a greater responsibility because they're with the kids 24/7. Their words and actions are under observation 24/7, 365, all day, all week, all year. It's a big responsibility, but everyone in the church has a role to play in the view the children have of Christians, the view children have of Christianity in the church, and the impression that children get of who Jesus was, who Jesus is, who Jesus will be. Now, the verse for today's subject is found in the book of Proverbs. It's chapter 22 and verse 6. Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it. I guess in other words, teach a child about God, the Bible, what it means to be Christ-like. Show them by example through your words and actions, but do it while they're still young. Do it while they're still impressionable, as soon as they're capable of learning. Season their minds with the principles of virtue before anything else. And if you do that, then it's most likely that those teachings, those words, those actions and principles, they'll grow with them. And when they're older, they're more likely to hold on to them and hold on to all those values and not turn away. And as I say, that really is everyone's responsibility. It's not just the parents. It's not just the people who take the kids out of the service and look after them in gems and look after them in monkeys and give them a story and things. It's not just the responsibility of those up on the platform, but it's everyone. I think we're doubly blessed at Dale Street. Firstly, we're blessed with an abundance of children. I know Dave's often said one of the main things he can't wait to get back to church for is to see all the kids, and to be able to high-five them and to have them up on stage singing and to see them on the front two rows like they do. They fill the front 2 rows and we have to put extra chairs at the side just to get them all on there. So that's the first blessing. But secondly, and I guess I say this as a parent who's noticed it and who's felt it, we're blessed to have a whole congregation that takes so much interest in those children. And I'm sure the other parents will back me up on that. It's something that I've kind of regularly appreciated, how so many of you take the time to chat to the kids, to get to know them, to show them love, really. That there are so many of you who take the time to get involved with little gems and little monkeys. And those words and actions create a church environment that the kids can thrive in. They look forward to being a part of. They look forward to coming every Sunday. It gives them great examples of Christ-like behaviour, of Christianity, and it makes them want to be a part of it. And that really is more important now than maybe it ever has been, or certainly in recent times. By the time we get back to church, it'll have been almost 1.5 years since we were in church. And that's a long time for all of us, but for the kids in particular, that's to some it will feel like a lifetime. And I guess it's something that seemed inconceivable last March when we first had to close the doors and move the services online. And if I think of a personal example, I know Ava, she was about 4.5 when church closed last March, and she's almost 6 now. And a few weeks ago, we had to pop into church to sort some stuff out, and brought the girls along. And even though you think, well, she spent the first 4.5 years coming to church pretty much every week of her life, Ava didn't even recognise it. As we were pulling into the car park, she was moaning about how long it was taking to get there and when are we going to get there, and we're here, and she just didn't recognise the building. It did kind of come back to her a bit after we'd pulled in, but it was foreign to her. And then inside, she's walking around like she didn't recognise the place, wondering what was behind the doors, didn't know where the toilets were, things like that, So essentially, she'll be starting from scratch with her church experience when we return later this month. And I'm sure that'll be true for many of the other kids, particularly the younger ones. Obviously, Matilda won't remember anything. I'm sure the same will be true for Isla, and many of the others too. And what impression is she going to get of church? What image of Christ is she going to observe in all of us? The parents in church, I guess, have borne the responsibility almost single-handedly, really, these past 16, 17 months. But soon, we will all have a chance to share in that responsibility. And just to look at a couple of verses that kind of show the ways in which we can shape the children in church and the things that we can shape about them. Firstly, their attitude. And in Philippians 2, verse 4 and 5, it says, "Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had." If we have the same attitude that Jesus had, observing that attitude in our words, in our actions, will help to shape the attitude of the children in the same manner. The second way we can shape the children is through our actions. And likewise, it would shape their actions. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Don't copy the behaviour and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." So let our actions be noticeably different to those that the children will see out in the world. Let's display actions that have been influenced and transformed by God. And just to leave you with one final verse from Psalms, it's Psalm 127 verse 3. "Children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from him." They're a gift of grace, a gift we have a responsibility to nurture and to raise in the ways of Christ, to train them in Christ-like behaviour. And as I say, it's a responsibility that falls not just on the parents, although they do perhaps bear the greatest responsibility, but it falls on the entire church. So, why church? Well, for the children. It's coming home. We hear it in the streets, we hear it on the TV, everywhere you go, in the supermarkets, all we hear is it's coming home. And yes, it's coming home, July 25th. And I really look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.